From birth to death, your entire body and all of its cells are under constant instructions from your endocrine system through the use of hormones. Together with the nervous system, the endocrine system detects any disturbances to the internal homeostasis by stimulating the hypothalamus to initiate a reaction. This stimulation creates a cascade of hormones passing through the pituitary gland and into the bloodstream, where it heads straight to the intended target cells. Upon reaching the target cells, hormones have the ability to alter cells' functions, resulting in a response to the initial disturbance. Feedback systems help to control a tight regulation of these secretions and play a major role in maintaining a homeostatic environment. Now let's have a closer look at the endocrine system, its major glands and hormones, and their effects on the body. As mentioned previously, initiation of hormone cascades starts in the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is responsible for the production of antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin, and the regulatory hormones, which we'll look into in just a moment. The second most important gland is the pituitary gland, consisting of two lobes, the posterior lobe and the anterior lobe. The posterior pituitary secretes ADH and oxytocin, which is synthesized in the hypothalamus and passed down by neurons for secretion. Antidiuretic hormone, which acts on the kidney tubules, increases water retention and therefore alters blood pressure. Oxytocin, which targets the breasts, enhances lactation and smooth muscle contraction during labor. The anterior pituitary differs from the posterior pituitary as it synthesizes its own hormones. However, these hormones can only be activated once the hypothalamus secretes its regulatory anterior pituitary hormones. These regulatory hormones either stimulate or inhibit the secretion of the pituitary hormones to effectively maintain and regulate homeostasis. One of these hormones is prolactin. Prolactin is regulated via prolactin releasing hormone and prolactin inhibiting hormone secreted from the hypothalamus. This is involved in the production and secretion of breast milk in the mammary glands. Human growth hormones are also secreted in the anterior pituitary. These are regulated by growth hormone releasing hormones and growth hormone inhibiting hormones. Human growth hormone targets the liver and initiates a secretion of insulin-like growth factors, which stimulate body growth and metabolism in the body. Gonadotropin releasing hormone increases the secretion of gonadotropic hormones such as follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These sex hormones target the testes and ovaries and have effects in sperm production and ovulation. This is regulated by a negative feedback system, signaling to inhibit or increase secretion. Thyroid stimulating hormone, initiated by thyroid releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, stimulates the thyroid to secrete its own hormones such as T3 and T4, which assist with metabolism. This is regulated by a feedback system involving the communication of an increase or decrease secretion of thyroid-releasing hormones to the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Finally, the anterior pituitary also secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone, regulated by corticotropin-releasing hormone originating from the hypothalamus. This targets the adrenal cortex to secrete glucocorticoids. The most abundant glucocorticoid is cortisol, which assists in stress response. This is also regulated by a negative feedback system from the adrenal cortex to the hypothalamus and pituitary gland to increase or decrease the secretion depending on the external disturbance. From this endocrine system summary, you can see why the pituitary gland is sometimes known as the master gland. This also highlights the simultaneous relationship between the hypothalamus and pituitary gland and their importance in regulating the body's homeostasis.